Hi everyone, it's Grace. Welcome back to another video. Today, the video that I am going to be doing is going to be the Knights Radiant quiz to see which Knight Radiant you are. So, I am going to have my laptop and a little bit of a different setup, so let's get into that. I've never done the quiz either. I've never looked at it, I haven't studied it ahead of time, so we're going to do it together and we are going to see what I end up with. So let's get right on into it. Okay, the official Knights Radiant Order quiz. The fate of Roshar hangs in the balance, and once again Radiant Spren seek to bond with humankind. Move the sliders towards the attributes you most identify with, and the quiz will sort you. Okay, obviously this is just going to be me judging myself, but I mean, if anyone is watching this and you disagree, you can feel free to let me know in the comments. Heart on sleeve versus poker face. I'm gonna go like 75% heart on sleeve. I can like keep a secret when I need to, but I wouldn't say that I make any effort really to like keep my emotions inside. Like I think I'm pretty easy to read. So for that one, 75% heart on sleeve. Confident or needs reassurance? It really depends on what we're talking about. Maybe we'll go with like 55% needs reassurance. I definitely need reassurance in the sense that like if I'm learning something new or starting something new, I always have a lot of questions. I always like really want to make sure that I'm doing things right. Like I always have anxiety with like starting a new position or starting a new job or something like that. Like it will make me very anxious until I'm actually there and I know that it's something that I can do. So in that sense, I definitely need reassurance. But once I feel that I'm established in something, I'm pretty okay. Cautious or daring? We're gonna go with like, wow, I was gonna say 70 and I clicked right on it. Yeah, definitely 70% cautious. I'm not very daring. I like to plan things, I like to think them through. Library or dojo? That seems like a really weird, that doesn't seem like those are opposites of each other. So, I don't know. I think I might leave it 50-50 because if we're assuming that library is like studious and bookish and things like that, whereas dojo is like sporty, is that what we're looking at it as? Or like physically inclined? Like I play a lot of sports, I've always loved sports, but I also very obviously love reading. So maybe we'll just leave that one right in the middle. Wolf pack or lone wolf? Now this is an interesting one, because as an introvert, I do like my alone time, but I love my friends, and I don't think that I could survive without people at all. So maybe we'll go like 65% wolf pack. Peacemaker or firebrand? Okay, we're gonna go with like 90% peacemaker, because I definitely consider myself like a mediator in some situations where other people aren't getting along, but then at the same time, like if there's something that I believe in strongly, then I'll stand up for it. Like I'll disagree with people as well, but I'm definitely not confrontational. So if it's something that I can let pass and have peace instead, and it's not that big of a deal to me, then I will do that rather than like have an argument about it. Spiritual or skeptical? We're gonna go with like 75% skeptical. I'm not sure what exactly this means because like spiritual doesn't exactly mean religious. It maybe more just means like believing in things, but I'm not religious at all. Maybe it's more like 60%. As a scientist, I consider myself by nature a little bit more skeptical. Hard one to answer. Leader or facilitator? Those don't seem opposite to me at all. What does facilitator even mean in this instance? If you're facilitating something, aren't you also leading it? I'm gonna leave that one in the middle. Guard dog or alley cat? I mean, just in life, I think I'm more of a cat than I am a dog. Maybe 65% alley cat. That's more of a feeling than like a logical answer, but compassionate or dispassionate? Definitely compassionate, like 85%. Like sometimes I get really tired. I think just because of the nature of the world these days, like when you hear news all the time, sometimes you just get fatigued of it. But I don't think that that's not being compassionate. I think that's just like sometimes you don't have as much emotion to give because you're sort of like fresh out. Like you care about so many things all the time that you can only give so much emotion. But definitely compassionate. Heart or head? And this one's tough because like I would like to say I lean more to the head side, but I definitely do make decisions like more based on feeling sometimes. Those usually end up being like bad decisions, but I do make them sometimes. Maybe we'll go with like 60%. That'll be cool. 60% head, just to be clear. Flamboyant or reserved? Pretty reserved. I do have like insecurities about what I look like at any given time and like spatial awareness of like the space that I take up. So in that sense, I'm more reserved, worried that I'm like taking up too much space, if that makes sense. Letter of the law or spirit of the law? Okay, I'm gonna go with like 80% spirit of the law. So I feel like the letter of the law isn't even a real thing in the first place. Well, okay, obviously it is a real thing because it's written down, but I feel like the spirit of the law is like what you're meant to be following anyway. Like every crime or whatever it is that you're talking about needs to be taken on a case-by-case basis, and that's why there are lawyers and courts to actually decide these things rather than just looking at the piece of paper where it's written down, because you have to take all sorts of factors into consideration when you're talking about things like that. So definitely spirit of the law. Free-spirited or disciplined? This one's hard too because I don't know if I would consider myself free-spirited, but I don't know that I'm super disciplined either. But maybe like slightly more disciplined than free-spirited, just because I don't think that like if I felt that I had a responsibility to do something, I would at least have enough discipline to do it. It wouldn't feel right if I like brushed it off to go do something else. But that's not exactly what being free-spirited is anyway. That's a tough one. Still, I'll lean slightly more disciplined. Obedient or rebellious? I was never rebellious. Like a lot of the times in school or whatever, I always enjoyed school. So like I was well behaved because I didn't see a problem with what I was doing. I liked being there type of thing. And like I've always kind of been like that. Like as long as someone is able to give me decent reasoning behind what we're doing, then usually I'm like, okay, next up we have creative versus conventional. I'm probably more conventional than I am creative. Not that I'm not creative, but that's not a word that I would primarily use to describe myself. So, dependable or flexible? See, this is another one where I don't feel like those are opposites, because somebody can be dependable while also being flexible by necessity, because flexible to me just means that you are adapting to like the situation as it changes around you. I feel like the opposite of dependable would be like flaky, but probably more dependable than flexible. But I mean, I guess I just have to deal with what the question says. Maybe I'll leave it closer to the middle. That's cool. Down to earth or head in the clouds? Probably more down to earth. 70%? Yeah. 71. I'm exactly 71% down to earth. Remember that. Next up we have think outside the box or color inside the lines. And this is another one that I think I might leave right in the middle, just because I just feel like different situations can call for either of these things. Like, there are times when coloring inside the lines is going to work better for you just because, like, it's either going to be more efficient or it's going to be the smarter decision, but that doesn't mean that you can never think outside the box. I don't know. That's a hard decision. Is it going to give me an accurate reading if I keep leaving them in the middle? Well, the next one is tense or relaxed, and I would love to say relaxed, but I definitely got tense just thinking about leaving that in the middle, so maybe I'm not relaxed. But then again, I don't think I'm tense either. I think I'm pretty easygoing, so maybe like 60% relaxed. There's still 40% of me that's not relaxed. Decisive or indecisive? That one's pretty ironic because if you can't decide, you might as well just move the thing over to indecisive. But I'm gonna say like 70% decisive just because, like, I don't think that a lot of the times I have trouble making decisions, but there are some times where, like, it requires a lot of thought. And ironically, one of the things that I'm most indecisive about is, like, what food to order. Like, if I go and open Uber Eats or something like that, it will literally take me a longer time to decide that than to, like, make a life decision. So, who knows? Likes change or likes stability? Okay, definitely like stability. That one's pretty easy. It's not that I don't like change, because I do like change in certain amounts, but for the most part, I like it when I know what's going to happen. I like planning ahead. And I like doing spontaneous things, but it stresses me out a little bit. So there has to be that in moderation. Planner or spontaneous? Okay, well, we just covered this unintentionally. I'm definitely more of a planner. We'll go about 80% on that too. So this is basically just the answer that I just explained a second ago. Ends justifies the means or honorable actions. This one is actually hard because I definitely lean towards honorable actions, but the question is, how far do I lean? Maybe like 75%. I think that this happens a lot in fantasy stories where you see a character that is presented with like a truly horrific choice, and there might be an honorable thing to do, but the outcome of that would just be like disastrous and way worse than if they have to make a tough decision and decide that the end do justify the means in this case. So there are definitely times when the ends justify the means, but I don't have to like it. Playful or serious? Maybe like 60% serious. I don't think that I'm an overly serious person, but I'm definitely more serious than some people. I'm taking this quiz too seriously, maybe. Tells the truth or bends the truth? I mean, I'm pretty sure that like 90% of the time, maybe even more, I'm telling the truth. There's that old quote, I don't even know who said it, but it's like, if you always tell the truth, you don't need to remember anything, which basically means, like, if you're lying, you have to keep up with who you've told what and make sure that you don't mess that up somewhere along the line. But if you just tell everyone the truth, then you have nothing to worry about. Anyway, more than 90% telling the truth. Likes to take things apart, or if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I 100% if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because if I tried to take things apart, I'm absolutely hopeless at that, and I would literally be making it so much worse. I would not be able to put it back together again. And I don't like to do that to the things that I own. So that's an easy one. Hotel or camping? Okay, I'm gonna go like 60%, maybe 55% camping, because like I've never actually really been a camper, but I love the outdoors, and I do have a cottage. Well, my family has a cottage, so I've spent my whole life going there, and I do love like being around nature and that sort of thing, which definitely leans more towards camping, even if it's not actually camping. But I love going on hotel vacations too, so I don't want to lean too far towards camping. Fencing or boxing? I have no idea. Maybe I'll lean towards fencing just because that seems slightly less violent, and I don't think that I would do too well in a violent sport. So, simple reasoning. Artistic or scientific? So we'll definitely go with like 75% scientific here because obviously I am a science major. I'm doing a master's of science right now, and I love science, but I love art. So I can't go too far towards scientific, even though I, like, in my own life am undeniably more scientific. Maybe we'll go 70%. I love art. I love singing. I used to play the piano. I love art. Who doesn't love art? Anyway, booksmart or streetsmart? I don't think I'm hopeless on street smarts by any means, but we're gonna go like 60% booksmart just because I am a nerd and I am a sheltered person, probably for the most part. Paladin or rogue? Probably like 65%. That sounds about right. Competitive or casual? This heavily depends on the context. I'm a very competitive person, but I'm usually competitive about like the things that I'm really good at. Like I'm pretty good at being casual about something if it's not something that like I work hard at. Like the sports that I've played my whole life are soccer and volleyball, and I'm extremely competitive about those because I've worked so hard on them and like I love them, and so they're team sports and obviously you want to help your team win and things like that. We'll still lean towards competitive though. Maybe like 60%. Transparency or need to know? Definitely higher towards transparency because I find myself telling people things that like they don't need to know. Like even if it's not sensitive information, I'll just find myself being like, why did you say that? You didn't need to say that. Okay, so that was the last question. Let's say the word. Hello? Oh. I'm a windrunner? Oh my god! You're a windrunner, which gives you access to the surges of adhesion and gravitation. It tends to attract big sibling types who want to look out for the defenseless. Now that's interesting because I'm an only child. Not that you have to be a big sibling to have big sibling energy, but I am an only child. But also those who enjoy action and want to fight for what they believe in. Windrunner, Edge Dancer, and Truth Watcher are my top. Skybreaker is kind of surprising, especially since I leaned so heavily on spirit of the law rather than letter of the law. But Dustbringer is my lowest. I'm glad that we know a character from each of those orders because that makes it kind of nice. Okay, well, I thought that was fun. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest with you, because I said in a chat the other day that I was hoping that I would be a windrunner, but I didn't think that I was like noble enough. But then again, anyone who compares themselves to Paladin, I don't think has the physical, visceral need to protect people as much as he does. I don't even know if that's possible. But I am very happy to get Windrunner. I swear I wasn't trying to do it on purpose. And then Edge Dancer and Truth Watcher are super interesting too. So this was fun. I will leave a link to the quiz in the description of this video on the off chance that you haven't done it. But yeah, I have to say I'm very happy. So I encourage you guys to take this quiz too, and if you already have, then you can share your results with me in the comments. Let me know what you got. That is going to be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!